Hi, welcome to the IGI Motorcycle Academy. I'm Tom. I'm going to go through braking, okay? Specifically how to use the brake lever. Simple concept, bit of logic behind why, but mostly I'm cheating, okay? So the way I'm going to show you how to use the brake happens to be the way I use the brake, but essentially I'm cheating because I didn't have to learn it the hard way, because I let the best riders in the world do all the experimentation for me, and I just took note. Okay, so it's simple. The traditional way of braking is I don't know what I'm doing, so I'll use 4 fingers, and I'll try and rationalize all of that with jargon about this, that, and the other. Okay, but if you look at the best riders in the world, which is the riders who win everything, so not the riders who participate in the racing event, you know, they might feel good about themselves, but they didn't win anything, so we're not interested. So if we just focus our efforts on across the board, from off-road to supermoto to track riding, the best of the best, okay? And we reduce that number down to the few that win everything, okay? And then we look at all of those riders who win everything. First of all, you start with a nice small number. There isn't many of them. And then what you do is you look at how do they brake, okay? So they're the best, they've won everything. How do they use this brake lever? And here's what you're going to find. You're not going to see any weird, strange combinations like this shit here or that or weird stuff. You're definitely, an airplane, but well, I'm on an airfield, so you get that. You're definitely not going to see any of the best riders in the world who's won everything braking like this either. Okay? Here's what you're going to see. There's actually 3 different versions. This one, that one, and that one. Okay, let me go through that again. This one, that one, and that one. Not weird, dodgy shit. You don't see any of that. That one, or that one. Okay? If you look at all those 3 variations, there's only one thing actually in common with them all. Okay, so they all use this one. So from that bit of information, what you can do is you can consider their combined experience at the top level of using motorcycles has made them come to the realization that this finger is a good one to have on the brake. So my advice is, why don't you do the same? Some of them, for different types of reasons, feel like 2 seems to be better. So if you don't really like one and it doesn't feel right, try 2 and see if that's better. That's the one I actually happen to like. Okay, and if you still don't feel that confident with 2, try use 3. Ideal. Never do this. Oh, weird shit. Okay? Don't do that. Not because I'm saying so, and not because I don't do it. I do this way, okay? But the best riders in the world have done all the hard work. They've crashed, modified, developed. They've done all this hard work for you. All you gotta do is just take note. So, my preferred method of using the brake is with 2 fingers, which means I don't leave 2 fingers there all the time. They're only there when I want to use that brake. Okay? I use it, stop using it, and that's the end of it. If in the process of using the brake like this, you find that these other waste of time fingers here get in the way, don't remove them, put them out here to solve that problem, because usually the reason for that is the brake lever might be incorrectly positioned, okay? So, in this position, the brake lever is definitely starting closer to me, so when I'm trying to interact with it, it could get very close to them knuckles I've left behind. Well, actually my fingers. But luckily, the brake lever adjustment allows me to modify where that brake lever is, so I can still maintain the right type of use on the brake, but I create massive clearance once I have it engaged. It's a simple thing, okay? It's not rocket science, and in fact I find most of riding these bikes isn't rocket science. It's really simple. But you don't have to rewrite the rules. Well, you don't have to go out there and do all the hard work. There's lots of really good riders who've done it for you. This is one of the examples of that. All right? You can brake to the full capacity of the bike with 2 fingers. Easy. The problem is most people aren't very good at braking. So what they need to learn is how to brake better. What I'm specifically talking about here is how to use the brake lever and the why. Okay? Once again, this will probably cause a load of drama on forums, none of which I'm all that bothered about, because they're wrong. Okay? This is wrong. Because it allows you to nail the brake, which is very powerful, with no control. Because biologically, you're limited as to what you can do with any finesse, because these 3 fingers here, those 3, struggle to do anything independently. Okay? They're being told to do by this one. So on their own, they're not much good. But if this one's engaged, they just follow suit, which means they're just being triggered by what this one is doing. This one has an element of trigger to it, but it is possible to bring brake in and lift that one off. So that means I can independently control that one whilst I still have the pressure on. That one is easy. That one's a bit harder. If I bring this numpty into the equation, when I try and make input on the brake lever, I can lift that one, it's harder. I actually physically can't lift that one off. The only way I get that one off is to let them all off. Okay? That's the opposite of control. Control, opposite of control. I can pull it off, but I can't lift it off. The only way I can lift that off is to get the rest off. Which means it's not helping. It's just yanking at it. No finesse, no consideration. As soon as they put a small bit of pressure on, look at that, if I try and lift it off, I can keep it there, but as soon as I put a small bit of pressure on, that thing just goes on to that brake with no finesse whatsoever. And this one is even worse. This one is totally a liability, because it just yanks things, just yanks it, okay? So if you don't want to be yanking at the brake, use the right fingers. If you don't have that finger, if that one like left you when you were 5 years old, or you cut it off by accidental, misuse of machinery, or for whatever the reason, that's fine. If you don't have that one, then you're going to have to consider using this finger as your main finger, which will automatically happen in the absence of having that finger in your day-to-day life. So some people can use this finger with a lot more finesse than I can, because they don't have that one, because if that one's been trained up. So they might have some chance of doing that, because this one has been retrained, which takes many, many years. But when you still have this finger, it makes sense just to use the dirty thing where it needs to be, rather than not using it. So weird shit doesn't help. Simple enough. Hope that helps. There you go.